Check-in and out rule is a set of time regulation an employee must follow during a shift. It tells an employee when to check in, break out, break in and check out. The rule's flexibility depends on a company's policy. Some companies may be strict, that it does not allow late and undertime logs, and would impose deductions. Others may be flexible, like allowing late check-in and early check-out for a few minutes after the regulation time without deductions. Thus the rule settings totally depends on the company's policy. Find check-in and out rules under Settings. Then Check-in Out Rules. You can create new rule, edit or delete existing rules as needed. To edit a rule, click a rule row to select. Then click Edit from the menu. Make changes, then click Update to save changes. A check-in and out rule is associated to an employee to be its default rule. To understand further how check-in and out rule works, let us understand the labels used in the form. Flexible time question. This is by default unchecked in the form. If this checked, the rule will not be strictly applied, thus an employee using a flexible rule only need to complete the required number of working hours from check-in to check-out, regardless of time regulations of the rule. Skip question. This applies to break-in and break-out. If these are checked, breaks in and out will be ignored during computation of lates and absences. Time. This refers to the exact time regulation for check-in, break-in, break-out, and check-out. Start and end. These refers to the range of time of when an employee must log, otherwise failed deduction will apply if there is any. Start and end are entered in minutes relative to time. In this example, 60 minutes start means employees can start to check in as early as 7 a.m. While 60 minutes end means employees must check out not later than 9 a.m. Failure to log between 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The system will apply the failed deduction value, which is by default is 240 minutes, equivalent to 4 hours of absence. You may adjust these values if you expect your employees to check in earlier than 7 a.m. or beyond 9 a.m. Allowed late and allowed early. These refers to the number of minutes where employees are allowed to be late or leave earlier than the regulation time without being deducted. In this example check-in, employees are allowed to be late by up to 15 minutes after 8 a.m. without being deducted. Likewise at checkout, employees are allowed to check out up to 10 minutes early without being deducted. Failed deduction. This refers to the number of minutes to be deducted if an employee failed to log at regulation time. In this example rule, if an employee failed to log at check-in or break-out or both, a total of 240 minutes or equivalent of 4 hours will be deducted. Likewise, if an employee failed to break in or check out, a total of 240 minutes or equivalent of 4 hours will be deducted as well. You can change or remove this value if you don't like to apply deductions. Required question. This is checked by default, which means that the time regulation is required. If this is unchecked, employees will not be required to log. The exact time will be used and will appear in the DTR if no log is found. If the employee has logged, the actual log date time will be used and printed in the DTR. Next day question. If this is checked, it means that the time falls next day, relative to check-in's date and time. For example, an employee checked in at 6 p.m. and checks out at 6 a.m. the following day.